Hey everyone, I am Christina Reisinger from ChristinaReisinger.com, and this is my husband Caleb.
Hello.
And today we are back to talk to you about some discussions on grief. Today's topic, we're going to talk to you about how to maintain your health after you have lost someone when you are grieving, and a little bit of discussion on self-care. You want to start us off?
Yeah, so there's probably a long list of things that we could put in this box, and a lot of it is going to be personal for that individual, but I would say it would be something that you like to do probably before the loved one passed away. That's something that you want to keep doing, and then maybe perhaps you'll find new things along the way that you could try that would help you through your grief journey. The top of our list is probably exercise as a thing that we would do together. And I would say on a lot of people's lists, this might be close to the top, but certainly not by any means the only thing. Other things would be, probably, hobbies that they enjoy that take them outside perhaps, or either, something that draws their focus. It's a hobby that they would do inside.
Mm-hmm. And I want to go back to the thing that Caleb said about continuing things that you did before your loved one passed away. Sometimes that's just hard, right? So maybe some of those activities remind you of that person and you did them together, and so you have a difficult time going forward with that specific activity. In that place, it is probably important to maybe stop and think about what about that activity made you like it? What were you grateful for that activity? What inspired you? And it's okay to put it down for a little while too. Like you mentioned, that if you want to pick something new up and start learning something new, but what it is it's really giving you something to focus on and to really expel that extra energy. I think you called it extra chaotic energy earlier when we were talking.
Yeah, so it's extra, maybe your thoughts are kind of all over the place, or you feel like you're continually thinking about the person who's passed away. Mm-hmm. And what I notice, with exercise, is when you get to a point where maybe you're super tired, or you're at the point of exertion, then you begin to think less about what you're doing perhaps, and you're kind of free to just let things kind of take their course. I saw this when I was swimming before, and also when you're running perhaps. And then when you finish a physical activity, you kind of seem like you're more clear-headed and able to think and focus and do things in a more methodical and disciplined manner.
Right, and one of the things that, like we said, we talked about this before and that came up, is there's a parallel between that exertion that he's talking about and actual grieving that we go through. So when you're able to clear the noise, and because there's a lot of noise that comes when we're grieving. There are so many negative thoughts and just emotions that are going to, they can definitely paralyze you if you are not able to acknowledge them and to work through them. You don't want to place them to the side. You definitely want to work through them. But if you're unable to do that, those negative chaotic thoughts and all of that noise can keep you from being your healthiest person. We see a lot of times where people either they stop eating or they start eating too much, so they may have some issues with weight and health. There is definitely, like he touched on, exercise. Sometimes you may exercise more than you were, or you may just not even feel like getting out of bed. So where maybe you were a completely active person prior to the passing of your loved one, you have no motivation anymore. And the thing with that is if you get up and just make yourself do it, and go through that, I guess, exhaustive point that he's talking about, it does help clear some of that negative energy that you're getting from those emotions. And then you're able to process things in a healthier way, wouldn't you
Sure.
think that?
And so we're kind of talking, to people as individuals that are experiencing loss. But what I'd like to do is also talk about the idea of a teamwork. So this is just as much for people who, if you're watching and you have a friend or somebody in your family and you see that they're struggling with grief, this is something that you want to help them with. So you can, work with them to do things that they like and get them back into doing things that they enjoy, and hopefully are these things that are healthy habits and not things that are bad habits. And but you're kind of helping to be a second set of eyes or third or fourth set or what have you as a group of people to stay together and work together as a team to make sure that the person is staying kind of in the middle, moderation. They're not, like with the food, they're not eating too much. You see a lot of people do that with grief, and certainly
they are eating.
A lot of food will come to your house when somebody passes away, and it's easy to get into the habit of eating too much food. But you want to make sure they're not, not eating, forgetting to eat, so to speak, or they're so overcome that they can't do the normal things. So I know we've mentioned it before, but the team and the idea of helping out your friends and loved ones is key.
Right. So when you see someone who you love, and we talk about this in other videos as well, that they are grieving, and your instinct is to fix things, but you don't want to be too overbearing. But stepping in when you see somebody struggling is a good thing. Maybe at first, people tend to go on their own and they forget, they think that person is doing better, so they don't show up as much. So time is not restricted to a couple months when you're grieving. It's not, even the first year, then you're okay. It's continuous. So continuing to check in on those people. Every once in a while say, hey, you know what, you want to go out to eat, make sure that they're eating, pick somewhere healthy. Do you want to go for a walk? That is huge. It's not necessarily the kind of physical activity that we're talking about, but just getting outside in the fresh air and movement is so good for your body and your mind, and it will help put that person in a place to actually think a little bit more clearly and be more motivated. And the more and more you do it, you take these little steps, and the more you do it, the more and more you're going to be able to do.
Yeah, and I don't think we're mentioning anything that's not per se something that people don't already know. You're supposed to get good rest. You're supposed to eat healthy. You're supposed to exercise. And you should do things, you should have time off to do things that you like and enjoy. The harder part is, like I said, is everybody's so busy, but you need to take an interest in your loved ones and your family and your friends that are experiencing grief, and look for signs that they're not doing well with it, that things are not going as you would think they should, and they're still having a lot of trouble. Then you need to make sure that that's where you try to be a good friend or a good family member, and try to help them by suggesting they do some of the things we talked about, and kind of nicely do you kind of nicely let them know that maybe you need to do this or that or whatever.
Or can I help you? Can we do this together?
That's what I meant.
Yeah. So, and if you are the one that is grieving, and you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders because you now have more responsibilities than maybe you had before, if you've lost a spouse, or if you have small children, or someone you need to take care of, things that you need to take care of financially, you need to try to stop and remember, hey, you have to put your mask on before you can help everybody else. So it's not, I don't want you to think of it as being a selfish thing. Think about it as actually being able to help others, because if you take care of yourself, you're going to be in a better frame of reference, a better frame of mind to help your children, to help your spouse, to help your friends, whoever it is that you are responsible for, to help your team at work. If you're a leader at work and you feel like you have all this responsibility, taking care of yourself before you take care of other people is going to make you have a healthier team. It's going to make you have healthier children, that kind of thing. So, do you want to mention anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. Like I said, this is for individuals to kind of self-monitor, and then it's also for people on the outside looking in at another person that's a friend or family member that's having issues. So, you know, just keep an eye on people, take an interest, take action to talk to them, and try to get them to do things that you know are good and healthy.
Right. And again, don't feel shy about asking for help. You are not a burden, and you are not alone. People want to help you. So we hope that you continue to be blessed and bless others, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.